Are you looking for the best open-ear headphones? In this video we will look at some of the 7 best headphones on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1. Shokz OpenRun Pro 2 Bone-Conduction Headphones. Our running headphones recommendations have always included a pair from Shokz, primarily because Bone-Conduction headphones have been the safest for runners. But there's a lot of new competition from open-ear models that include small speakers to fire sound toward your ears, so Shokz had to up its game. Bone-Conduction is a neat way to transmit audio, but the quality just can't compare to actual speakers. Version 2 of the OpenRun Pro uses a combination of the two technologies. The result is louder volume, deeper bass, and clearer notes that were obvious when I listened to music. And the addition of those speakers makes the headphones far more versatile when listening to quiet songs and spoken word. Previous Bone-Conduction models could be frustrating because I'd miss words no matter how loud I turned up the volume. Because the Bone-Conduction tech relies on a tight connection to your head, these headphones include a wraparound band that's almost completely disappeared from wireless options. Some runners may not like the band because it can be a bit cumbersome with ponytails and under winter hats. I've found that the band is snug enough to remain comfortable and bounce-free, even on runs lasting 2 hours and longer. In testing, I've noticed my pair of OpenRun Pro 2 has a very faint ringing. It's not noticeable when I'm listening to music or running outside. But if you're sitting in a quiet house with an audiobook or podcast playing, you may hear the chime sound during pauses between words. It's definitely not a deal-breaker, especially for headphones you'll primarily use for exercise, but it's worth noting if you want a pair for all-around use. At number 2. Nothing Ear, Open Earbuds. These stylish headphones get attention from tech-focused media outlets. The company Nothing makes phones and smart watches, too, but I first learned of the Ear, Open, from We Run Uptown, a New York City-based running crew. And it's that scene where these headphones shine, blending sound, safety, and style in buds that perform on the run and in casual settings. The smartly designed buds are just the beginning. Fire up the companion app and you can tweak the sound to your heart's delight. There are a few very basic options you can select if all you want to do is to boost the bass or treble, or optimize for podcasts and spoken word. But, click over to the Advanced tab and you get an 8-band equalizer that lets you dial in your preferred audio settings. Even more, you can import EQ settings with a QR code. Lots can be found on Reddit, so you can try out settings other listeners find well suited. I found this a good starting point to experience the effects, rather than just fiddling with sliders randomly. But, how do they sound? Well, frankly, the audio is a fair bit quieter than headphones like the Bose Ultra Open and Shokz OpenFit 2. Louder is better, right? Not necessarily so, though loudness bias can lead people to believe louder audio sounds better. Out on the road, running in the small city where I live, I had to nudge the volume up almost to the max. And, when I wanted to listen to audiobooks, I tended to reach for those aforementioned headphones because I knew the words would come across more clearly. For versatility, the Ear, Open, makes a compelling argument. They're loud enough for workouts. The silicone ear hooks are slim and fit comfortably even when I wear glasses. And the overall sound quality is great for times when you're not on the move. At number 3. Shokz OpenFit 2 Earbuds. The OpenFit was the first headphones from Shokz without Bone-Conduction. I tested those and found they worked pretty well, though I missed having a physical button and found the fit could be tricky. The new OpenFit 2 addresses both of those issues, plus the sound quality and battery life are improved. Perhaps most important for runners is the fit. The new OpenFit 2 ear hooks have a shallower contour and are more flexible, so they sit against your ear better and remain comfortable for longer wearing sessions. For me, the effect is more like they nestle into my ear rather than just sitting atop it, as the earlier version felt. While I say that the sound quality has improved, I should note that the OpenFit 2 mostly just seems louder. Yes, the drivers are larger and give the audio a bit more bottom end, but you can tweak the sound quality a bit with the companion app on both models. The app allows you to do the typical bass/treble boosts or highlight vocals, plus a 5-band EQ lets you further dial in your preferred frequencies. Where that extra volume shines is when you are on a treadmill and you don't really want to hear gym noise. Crank it up! Plus, I appreciate it when listening to singer-songwriters, podcasts, and audiobooks. Everything is clearer, fuller, and sounds much more like it's coming from traditional earbuds. I appreciated having physical buttons on these buds, so I could feel the click that let me know I was actually making my intended change. Those buttons, however, are on the top of the speaker housing, so when the weather turned cold, I had to lift my hat up to get at it. At number 4. JBL SoundGear Sense Open-Ear Headphones. These JBL headphones are the bulkiest of the bunch I tested, but that actually has an upside: they don't seem to leak sound quite as much. I also found that the size didn't really cause any issues with hearing the environment, which is why you really buy a pair of open-ear headphones in the first place. That's in part due to the smart swivel design, which lets you orient the speakers in one of 4 positions. At the office, I keep the speakers low over my ears, but out on the road I can nudge them up a couple of clicks to let in more ambient noise. That said, the big plastic speaker housing has an unintended consequence. I experienced quite a swishy noise when I was cruising into a headwind. Two 16mm drivers give the headphones decent bass. If you want to tweak the sound, you can do so via the smartphone app, much like the other options I recommend here. There's even an extreme bass quick setting that really creates more separation among instruments and makes the overall sound less muddy. One thing that takes a little time to get used to is the sensitivity of the touch controls on each earbud. I have them set up so a single tap on the left increases volume while a double tap lowers the volume. The right bud toggles between play and pause. But I found that if I reached up to swipe away sweat or scratch my ear, I'd occasionally trigger one of those functions. At number 5. Sony LinkBuds Open Truly Wireless Earbuds. The most novel design in open-ear headphones is also the most polarizing. You're either going to love or hate the LinkBuds Open. For those of us in the love camp, the inconspicuous design of these in-ear headphones is really compelling, especially if you'll use them beyond exercise. They sit inside your ears like normal earbuds, but the driver is donut-shaped, with an opening in the center that lets some sound in. In most situations, it works well enough. The smartphone app lets you enable a speak-to-chat option, which will automatically pause your music when the buds detect that you've started talking, so you don't have to take them out of your ears. Those in the not-so-in-love camp will find the audio quality is quite a bit more tinny than other buds here, even with the bass boosted, because of the small drivers that sit inside your ears. And the headphones let in far less ambient noise, too. If safety is paramount, look to a less intrusive pair of buds. My opinion of the fit is mixed. The buds mostly stay in place because of a friction fit in the ear canal. That can lead to some pressure during long listening sessions. And when I got really sweaty, I felt the buds slipping, though I never actually worried that they would fall out of my ears. They come with stabilizing fins, but there's really no way to adjust the fit if they do prove to be too loose. I suggest these if you'll use them mostly in casual settings, but want a pair to grab for the occasional run or trip to the gym. The speak-to-chat function and spatial sound audio moves as you turn your head are features better appreciated when you're not deep into a tempo run. At number 6. Soundcore C40i Open-Ear Headphones. This unobtrusive clip-style set of headphones makes for comfortable listening no matter how long your run. But, unlike the Bose headphones, they require a bit more fine-tuning on your part to get the fit and sound just right. Fresh out of the box, I found the C40i just a little too loose, and the headphones slid down my ear as I ran. But, after I added one of the thin plastic sleeves, medium and large are included, that snap over the outer half of the headphones, they pinched more firmly and stayed put better. Getting this fit right is hugely important, because the audio quality suffers if the earbuds don't stay positioned just perfectly. I found that, if I allowed them to sag too low toward my lobe, the bottom end disappeared from my music and I was left with just an annoying treble-filled sound that reminded me of my first car, a 1984 Ford Tempo, which had only 3-inch tweeters in the dashboard. Even so, the audio needs a little help to dial in a clear distinction between the highs and lows, so be sure to download the Soundcore phone app and tap the bass sound effect option. The app also gives you a 3D soundscape possibility as well as a custom EQ so you can dial things into your liking. For just $100, these are an attractive option for runners. The lightweight buds fit comfortably under a winter hat and won't interfere with sunglasses. Plus, the large physical button on the back half was easy to press with my thumb, even when wearing winter gloves. To switch songs and adjust volume, press and hold. At number 7. H2O Audio Tri-2 Multisport Bone-Conduction Headphones. Thanks to Bluetooth technology, we're able to enjoy music with incredibly small devices and no wires. But that only works on land. Bluetooth is rendered useless in water. That's where H2O Audio looks to offer a solution for swimmers and triathletes. The Tri-2 headphones function like a typical pair of bone-conduction headphones when you're running or on a bike. But they also come with more robust waterproofing, a built-in MP3 player, and 8 GB of storage so you can play music while doing laps. That's all well and good, but how many of us actually have a drive full of MP3s anymore? More often we're paying a monthly subscription to Spotify or Apple for our music. And the Tri-2 doesn't work with either of those services, unlike some Garmin Forerunner watches, which are able to store Spotify tunes for offline playback. To be fair, H2O Audio offers a workaround of sorts on the Pro version of these headphones. Its Playlist Plus feature lets you record anything that's playing via Bluetooth and store the audio in the headphone's memory. That means you can save those Spotify tracks, but you have to do it in real time as the song plays, not the quick drag and drop functionality of MP3 files. Another runner tested that pair for me, but he was too impatient to wait through the recording of the tracks and quickly abandoned that feature. On the move, the Tri-2 performed well for Maine. The battery lasted through long runs and a subsequent day of chores around the house. And I appreciated the rubbery coating that was comfortable but grippy no matter how wet or sweaty I got.